My name is Tom Shaw, and I'm the Bishop of the Episcopal Churches in Eastern Massachusetts. I'm also a monk. I've spent my whole life in the church, but lately I've been thinking a lot about Jesus' message and what it means to people outside the church. So I've decided to go out and see, to try and be a monk in the midst. Signs and symbols are everywhere, all around us, bombarding us every day with wordless messages. I got to thinking about the cross I wear every day as part of my habit and being a bishop. I know what it means to me, but does the cross mean anything to other people who may or may not have any connection to a faith community? So do you believe in God?
I do, to an extent, yeah. I often have trouble with organized religions because I often feel that sort of a lot of what they're pushing is more, more the form and less the substance. It's often the sense you get. I'm sure that's not true about many, and in fact, the communities can be very strong and very supportive. But I feel that certainly what you hear in the news, a lot of what you're seeing kind of misses the point. And it doesn't speak to me as personally as just sort of spending time alone.
What about you? Do you have any connection to the church at all?
I don't. No, I mean, I'll find myself at like a Catholic mass here and there for like funerals or weddings, things like that. But I don't know. For me, like growing up in that faith, I've kind of interpreted a view of spirituality as not necessarily something that has to happen on a Sunday morning, but more as something that happens throughout your life and the things that you do and the way you interact with the world.
So one last question. Lots of people wear crosses, and I just wonder, what does it mean to you when you see the cross around somebody's neck or you see it on the wall? And if it means nothing to you, I just want to know what it means to you when you see it.
Hard question. Because I think it means two things to me. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Right? It makes me a little bit uncomfortable because it represents kind of like the dogma piece of religion. So kind of like the text, the hierarchy in the church. But then, so that's the one side. The other side is that it does remind me that there are people who have made a commitment to faith, spirituality, and ideally also promoting the well-being of all people and all living beings on this earth. So I see people who wear the cross in kind of that way as as just people who have made a commitment to those ideals and values. And I think it's a nice reminder to see that there are people who do that, in such a crazy world that we live in where there's so much violence and hatred, that there are people who are very much committed to faith and hopefully justice. That's what I hope.
I think what the cross means for me is that it really does speak to me about the foundation of God's love for us, and not just the whole understanding that God would sacrifice the self of God on the cross, but how far God is willing to go in terms of confronting social injustice, and that God was so willing to confront the social injustice that Jesus experienced in first century Palestine, that he died for it, and that that's how much God cares about the injustice of the world.